Spring ball is for taking a lot from spring press conferences. Kalen DeBoer took the podium after Alabama's first spring scrimmage, and we appreciate college football head coaches giving us some coach speak. But on this show, man, having been around the game, from Cato on the ones and twos to myself here, we've played some college football, so we're going to do our very best here to translate some coach speak. All right, if you've seen the Key and Peele skit where it's the translation for the president, we're going to do the same exact thing for Kalen DeBoer after Alabama's first scrimmage of spring practice. So if you're an Alabama fan, make sure you're subscribed. We want to talk about what you want to talk about, man. We can't be the People's College Football Show and not listen to the people. So if you're an Alabama fan, the bottom line here is you subscribing lets us know to do more Bama content. So appreciate y'all being dialed in. Appreciate y'all being subscribed. So everybody's going to ask, man, what's going on with the quarterback room? You got a question specifically, the first question of the press conference. Who's separating in that room? Did anybody separate so far? What's the pulse right now? Here's Kalen DeBoer on the quarterback pecking order.
I mean, I think it's pretty consistent from where it was from the beginning. So, they all bring something a little bit different to the table, even though it's not like maybe, a runner, and then a passer. It's guys doing their thing and what their strengths are, catchable balls and things like that they do really well.
Hey, here's what I'm going to say now. You watch the crossed arms to start, man. Closed body language. It means I'm not giving you anything. You notice, too, a lot of coach speak, we're not labeling any quarterbacks with their names. I'm just telling you, Kalen DeBoer is telling you with this answer, I'm not telling you. We're a few spring practices in. I'm sure Kalen DeBoer also, if you gave him some truth serum, would make sure that it's clear he knows how the portal works. So if he was going to say, yeah, man, Keelan Russell's the starter game one. Keelan Russell's running away with this thing. Or Austin Mack or Ty Simpson or whatever, he's just like, I'm not telling you. It's early. I don't even think he exactly knows just yet either. But I will say, when it comes to how he answered that question saying, well, it's not really too different from when we started this whole thing. When we started spring practice, what was everybody assuming was true about the quarterback room? Assuming now, keyword. We're all assuming it's Ty Simpson's job to lose. So with that being the jumping off point, it sounds like based on the first spring scrimmage, Ty Simpson hasn't done anything to lose that number one spot, all right? And I think, quite frankly, we're going to have to get a few more spring scrimmages to get a real gauge for how this quarterback race is shaking out. But if Ty Simpson had thrown 5 interceptions, it probably would be a different answer from A1 Kalen DeBoer. So all in all, not telling you, not a lot of movement. Still, Ty Simpson, I believe, is in the number one spot based on what Kalen DeBoer is saying, and maybe just as much as what he's not saying there. So that's the quarterbacks. He was also asked, though, about position groups that are separating in the spring. And he mentioned the receiver room, y'all. I think this is worth your time when it comes to translating it and unpacking it. Take a listen to Kalen DeBoer and the receivers.
The group that is coming along and different than what we had last year was the receiving core. And I know some of those guys are the same guys, but I think the depth of them, of that group, is certainly evident. They're all today. They made more of those plays and they were very consistent. I thought.
I think we got what we need, is what I'm hearing Kalen DeBoer say. Not that we're going to be the best in the SEC or this, that, and the other, but he's speaking to depth. He's speaking to guys that are coming back. I think we got what we need. Because what did we say about Kalen DeBoer and his offense with Ryan Grubb and what they were at Washington? What did they have? Just a bunch of weapons all over the place, man. They had 4 dudes in that national title berth year for Washington, 2023, over 40 receptions, 2 over 1,000 yards. They want to spread the ball around, man. Because if you're able to spread the ball around, a defense can't key on one player and take him away and then limit your offense. So you got Ryan Williams back. You got Jeremy Bernard back. Isaiah Horton via the portal. Welcome to Tuscaloosa. Go catch a lot of passes. Jalen Mbakwe now playing some receiver. All of this to say those are just guys that I'm assuming are making plays behind closed doors for spring. They've retooled that room quite a bit. I think that's what this whole thing is going to be built on. Of course, you got to have a quarterback to make it all go. Of course, they still want to run the football. It's a requirement in the SEC. But at wide receiver, that's where you take Kalen DeBoer's offense and Ryan Grubb's offense to good to, okay, we can go compete for SEC championships. And that was where I think this got interesting. Someone asked a great question about growth for Kalen DeBoer and the team's growth going into his second season at Alabama. There's, I think, the most to take from this one when you're talking about what 2025 can be in Tuscaloosa. Go ahead and check out Kalen DeBoer's answer when he's asked about his growth in his second year in Tuscaloosa.
A lot of it is just, been at a lot of times right over your career, whether it's head coach or an assistant coach. Year two always just feels different, right? You know the guys, you understand now and have gone through experiences together, and they know where you're coming from when you come to them, good or bad, and you know what they've been through and what they're experiencing. So I think a lot of it is just the next step of the relationships leading to just the passion coming out and myself, our staff, through and the expectations aren't changing. It's just that everyone's, and especially after a season like last year, got another level of hunger to make sure we get back to where we expect to be. And, it's been a joy out there because, the guys know where I come from and I can coach them up. I know where they got to get better. I've been, articulated that. Our staff articulates that to them, and we hold them to that expectation.
Last year was whack by our standards at Alabama. Last year was not it, dude. And for some people, maybe they celebrate 9-3. Not us here at Alabama. We took that personal. And because we took it personal, because we went through the negative year that last year was, we're all a different level of dialed in. Like when you take something personal and you're then acting from that usually yields pretty good results. I thought it was interesting, Kalen DeBoer speaking to, hey, they know where I'm coming from. I know where they're coming from. I can't help but feel a little bit like what he's saying here is there's a different level of trust because he enters into the fold in Tuscaloosa a year ago, filling in some Nick Saban-sized shoes. And it's like, okay, well, we're Alabama. We're just going to go ahead and roll. This is what we do. We go compete for the SEC. We go make the playoff. This, that, and the other. We made the playoff last year. Like, let's go. They actually have gone through some stuff together now. Like, he's been in the foxhole, been in the trenches with these guys. Everyone that's chosen to stay at Alabama understands that Kalen DeBoer, he went through a little bit publicly, I think, too, last year in terms of how he was talked about and people questioning if he's the right guy in Tuscaloosa, all these things. And so I think the negative year that it was, what Kalen DeBoer is speaking to, there's a different attitude. And he says that as much. He says there's a different hunger. And so I love that for Bama. I think that is dangerous with how much talent they will always have in Tuscaloosa, with how they've recruited and how they've recruited this past cycle. Kalen DeBoer is making it very clear. We all still know the expectation. It's go win the SEC, go compete for it, and win the national championship. That is the expectation here. We're not shying away from it because of the 12-team playoff and what last year was. Nobody's okay with last year. Took it personal. It bothered us. We're taking that emotion and putting it into our work because we know what we got to get done. A little bit of coach translation there for you from the coach speak from Kalen DeBoer. Again, we appreciate Kalen DeBoer giving us any coach speak during this time of the year, but we're going to do our very best to keep this kind of thing going. Make sure you're subscribed. Let us know. Do you want to hear another coach be translated? Do you have any takes on what Kalen DeBoer was saying? We appreciate y'all being dialed in. Again, Bama fans, college football sickos, make sure you are subscribed. Caden Smith on the ones and twos. For myself, JD PicKell, we appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We will keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.